Beatles legend George Harrison said he has always been a fan of reggae music, and it is known that George was a fan of Bob Marley's music. All four of the Beatles liked Bob Marley, and Bob loved the music of the Beatles. Paul McCartney is in the music video of Bob's song One Love.
Do you ever listen to Beatles? Do you ever listen to Sinatra?
During the time, during the 60s, it was the 60s when the Beatles, we even recorded one of the Beatles songs,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we used to listen to the Beatles a lot. The Beatles used to be a very popular group in Jamaica.
John Lennon praised Bob's early music Get Up, Stand Up in an interview, and he visited Bob's show with Ringo Starr in 1976.
Yeah. Why don't you, instead of sliding now, get in with the bass like Bob Marley's guy? Does anybody know Get Up, Stand Up? You buggers.
George Harrison confessed that he has tried his hand at writing a reggae song. He said, "Well, I've tried a couple of times. I must say not too serious, but I've tried to make a tune into like a reggae feel with the song Crackerbox Palace. But like I say, it's harder than it appears, And the one thing I like about it is the drum song they always get, like the high ta-tang tang, the tom-toms, fantastic." Harrison said he had also seen reggae king Bob Marley in concert and was mesmerized. In fact, the first time I saw Bob Marley, I was so impressed with his band and the show, I went back. I stayed for the second show, and I went back the next night and saw him again, so he was quoted saying. Bob Marley in particular, because apart from the musical thing, it's sort of hypnotical. Apart from that, I just liked the way he looked and the way he moved, sort of like he was in a dream. I don't know why, he continued. Both artists were in the USA at the time, and George Harrison had just finished recording the album Extra Texture at the time of the meeting. On July 13, 1975, George Harrison was invited backstage before a Bob Marley show at the Roxy in Los Angeles to meet Marley, and when Marley was told that George Harrison was coming backstage, he reportedly lit up a joint and exclaimed, "Russ Beatle." It appears from photos that George also got to enjoy smoke with Bob before the show. After the two guitar greats expressed their mutual admiration for each other, Bob went on stage to play and no collaboration took place. Bob Marley even covered one of the Beatles songs, And I Love Her. Kim Gottlieb Walker, a photographer who was with them that day, said, "When Bob heard that George was coming, he got really excited. He said, 'Russ Beatle.' I had a flash on my camera and the batteries were dying. They were only together for 2 minutes and you had to wait 30 seconds to get a charge. It was agonizing, but I got the picture in the end and that's all that matters." On September 6, 1975, Melody Maker magazine wrote, George had not long returned from LA where he'd seen Bob Marley and the Wailers 3 times at the Roxy. "Best thing I've seen in 10 years. Marley reminds me so much of Dylan in the early days, playing guitar as if he's new to it. And his rhythm, it's so simple yet so beautiful. I could watch the Wailers all night." These classic photos of George Harrison and Bob Marley captured a magical meeting of two legends who definitely brought a lot of light into the world, and their music is still very much with us.
Hello.
That was Ringo, folks.
Well, what can I say?
And goodbye to all of them.
Well, this is Ringo. Everyone seems to have said everything here, so I'll just sign off by saying cheerio and best of luck from the Beatles.